Too Many Men on the Mic, presented by Netfront LLC. Now here's Coach Drew and Coach Jared.
It is the April 23rd edition of Too Many Men on the Mic. And this is like coming home. Not only is it April 23rd, but we're also bringing back Grant, producer extraordinaire to Too Many Men on the Mic. He was gone for us for, I don't know, about a month or so.
Yeah, he left us.
Yeah. And so we
left us dangling.
He did. He dangled us and then he disappeared. So he's
some would call it an Irish goodbye.
An Irish goodbye.
But yeah, for those of you listening at home and the ones that are on here watching us on our YouTube channel, I didn't want to tell Grant this, but you know, I had a lot of people as I met them around town at different rinks. Hey, the show's great, you guys. I love the new format. Where's Grant? Where's Grant?
Oh man, pump those tires.
But since we've already negotiated his contract, I can say it now. Grant, why don't you come on board and say hi to the fans out there?
Hello. I'm happy to be back.
The resident St. Louis Cardinals slappy here, Grant Salzman, the pride of the Seckman Jaguars.
Yeah, and now that you're back, we're just going to continue the onslaught of one, who's your playoff hockey team down the stretch in the NHL playoffs now that they're underway, and when the hell are you going to get to a Too Many Men on the Mic gig?
You made Coach Drew swear. That must have been it's a late cheat.
The first one, it's not quite a team I'm cheering for to win it. I'm cheering for the Oilers to make it to the Stanley Cup final and lose the Stanley Cup final.
Be a bridesmaid once more.
There you go.
Yes, so I'm rooting for the funniest possible outcome, which would be the Oilers losing the Stanley Cup final again. So it's the Oilers until they meet whoever they meet in the Stanley Cup final. And I plead the fifth on your second question.
Well, there might be a Tapawingo gig in the future that I'm sure will come with a request for golf on the front side.
Typically, the nights we record, we also rehearse afterwards. So I think we just might duct tape you to a chair and listen to us rehearse.
There you
go.
Now, I know I don't get paid enough for that.
Well, we can give you a tambourine. We could be Too Many Men on the Mic and a tambourine guy. We won't give you a mic. But in all seriousness, this is for our listeners at home. This has been something has been in the works for a few weeks now. Grant's been really, really helpful helping us get the new studio set up. We've got hopefully some really exciting things happening in the next months in terms of additional partnerships here, both locally and around the country. And Grant's going to be very instrumental in that. And he brings a level of he's like, dare I say it, I do things in threes. There's 3 periods. You've got 3 goals as a hat trick.
Go ahead and say Rush while you're at it.
Yes, there's 3 players in the band Rush. But no, Grant, I can't tell you how excited we are to have you back here. It brings a smile to our face. And if what I heard over the past couple of weeks from the folks around the rink is true, then we should see our listenership and viewership go back up through the roof. So welcome back.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get going. I think we're going to have an exciting few months here.
Absolutely. All right.
Well, we got an exciting show.
Super exciting show.
This is our USA Hockey Monthly segment. And we got some guy with some cred stepping in today who can lay some medals on the table and say some important things.
Well,
right?
I'll tell you what. It's not often that we get to, we talk to pro athletes all around the world. We talk to coaches who have coached at high levels. It's not often that we get a person who was a 2-time Olympian for the USA men's hockey team, played in the NHL, coached professional hockey, Went to this school in Minnesota, but I do have a couple things. I looked at the rosters for the 1988 and 1992 men's Olympic team. I know why they didn't go.
Oh,
they only had like one guy from Michigan on each team.
Oh.
That's that Massachusetts, Minnesota bias of the late 80s, early 90s that was holding USA Hockey back. But I digress. Today, we're bringing on Goose Gosselin. He's been with USA Hockey. He's a regional manager for the American Development Model. He represents the Upper Plains in Minnesota. And let's just talk about this guy's like resume. He was an alternate captain on the 1992 Olympic team. He was on the 1988 Olympic team. He has played on 3 International Ice Hockey Federation's Men World Championships in 86, 90, and 91. He played in the NHL with the Winnipeg Jets, and he helped build the NCAA Division III program at Concordia University in Wisconsin. Fun fact, my college roommate transferred there from Concordia.
How did I know you'd have a story?
He played football. He played football at Concordia, but he transferred But if you're out there looking for some credibility when it comes to talking about youth hockey, USA Hockey, and the topics that we're going to talk about today, I don't think we could be better prepared and have a better guest than Goose Gosselin. So Grant, why don't you let Guy in, and from here on out, we're just calling him Goose. Hey Goose, what's going on?
Just hanging out. Thanks for having me.
Now, if we were on Spittin' Chicklets, we would start off with some campfire stories, because this guy's played with some guys. Mike Richter, Brian Leach, Big Walt, Keith Kachuk, back when you had to be an amateur to play in the Olympics. And
so the Rangers were my NHL 93 Sega team. They had Leach, they had Messier, they had Adam Graves. What a loaded team. Brian Leach, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So, before we get started on our topics, we got to hear, you were in Calgary and France, right? Albertville, France. What was that experience like, especially now that we've got, we're the best hockey country in the world right now? And that's not me talking. That's the gold medals that we've won here over the past, But what was that experience like? That's something that, being a lifelong hockey player, fan, and coach, I can only dream about. So share a little bit of that.
Well, I've spent 30 years trying to figure out that answer. It was unreal. It's you put that USA jersey on, and it's a special feeling. So, 88 Calgary, I was still pretty young yet, and it was all new to me. We didn't finish like we wanted to, but we had some players on that team. You talked about Brian Leach. We were partners, and he was a heck of a hockey player. He just wanted me to give him the puck, and he could go.
Right.
And he did a good job.
Go ahead, sir. Absolutely. Can I get another assist?
Yeah, exactly. So, Albertville, France was something that, up in the mountains in a foreign country, something that you dream about when you're a kid, and that was a great experience for me. Our team played very well. We had 2 chances to medal. We didn't. We ended up in 4th place, but it was a great experience. Really enjoyed it.
I just can't imagine just that experience and how you just take that and leapfrog to success, on the professional hockey level, and then, giving back to USA Hockey. And we're so humble and grateful that you're able to join us tonight to talk about, some topics that we think will hit home with the players and coaches and parents that we're trying to speak to. But that roster, Craig Janney, former Blues,
former Blue, yeah.
So like just some players, and and they had Goose Gosselin, who was just feeding apples to Brian Leach, which is all I'd be doing.
Yeah. Well, Goose, I love the energy, guys. You guys are bringing it.
Goose, we're at the end of the youth hockey season, so I think this is a great time to reflect and think about player development from looking back, looking at player development from looking forward. And so let's dive into, when you look back on a youth hockey season, what would you say coaches and organizations should do to define success beyond just the wins and losses? And then how do you communicate that? Because I'm sure you probably run into, and many coaches run into, parents have a certain expectation and they're defining success in a way, but then you as a coach have an opportunity to provide a different perspective, like hockey perspective, the coach's perspective. So what's that look like?
Well, I guess it's different at various age groups. You really need to focus on, did we get better as players? Not just the wins and losses. Development happens in practice for the most part. And you need to look at, if your players got better, did they learn from our practices? Did I run great practices with constraints, teaching our kids what we'd like to teach them to do? Sometimes that's hard, but like I say, it looks different at various levels. But did I have my players moving, especially with the young kids? Are they actively skating and playing hockey, or are they waiting in line? And we want to get our kids active out there. It changes a little bit later on. People talk about work to rest ratios and how intense the drill is, etc. But reflection is really a good thing, and it looks differently at all age groups. Did we build a positive culture? Everybody talks about culture today within our group. Did we teach our kids how to be good teammates, to be happy for successes of other teammates? It kind of sounds corny, but the culture thing is really important. A lot of people talk about it, but you actually have to do it.
You said something there that I kind of picked up on when you talk about practices. And that's where I think as a coach, you have to really look at yourself critically, and almost what I've learned, and some of this is from falling down and making mistakes, is you got to almost evaluate yourself first as a coach before you can offer that feedback to the kids. But talking about that communication, and let's say we're talking to a Pee Wee major team that's going to be going on to their first year in Bantam when hockey really takes that big step. What is that effective, whether it's an effective format or an effective template of communication? What does that look like? Is it written? Is it verbal? I mean, is it a combination? What have you found is very successful, especially when you're looking at that, 12, 13, 14-year-old age group?
Well, I think that first off, you have to have some empathy for these kids. We as coaches can give the kids as much confidence as they need or take it away. So you need to create this positive learning environment and interaction with the kids. Make it fun. That's the key. Give them a sense of belonging, and utilize everybody. They sign up for hockey to play hockey, if that makes sense. And so they need to be a part of something. We need to have a common goal together, and we need to discuss that with the kids. And again, make it fun. And I know that sounds corny to the tough guy out there, but that's the key. And then they're going to be engaged and they're going to be learning.
Yeah, I mean, Bob Mancini's been a preacher of making hockey fun, and starting there before you take additional steps. I'm just curious, what's your perspective on being at the end of the season? Because, these families, these players, they spend 8 months together. Is there a right amount of games for players at youth hockey to be playing? And it's probably a different answer, I would imagine, for different ages.
Oh, absolutely.
But there are teams that are out there that and I'll say with my firstborn son, we would play as many games as we possibly could. My perspective's changed on that. How do you feel about that at the end of the season, looking back on, knowing you're spending 8 months together, what is the right amount of games to be playing at some different ages here?
Well, just like you said, it looks different at each level. But we really feel like development time happens in practice. Just talking about how many reps you get. The activity time is where the kids figure it out, and that's when they're learning. There is a balance to all of this stuff. And, the teams that practice once a week and go play 5 on the weekends the other kids will eventually catch up. I can promise you that. We need to work on physical literacy, the way kids move through, around on the ice. And we want to develop resilient, confident hockey players. And that's the way you do that, through practice. And practice can be fun. We don't want to turn it into a job. And so there's a balance there for the games and practice time.
It's interesting when you talk about resiliency and physical competency. It's I almost think, at least here in Missouri hockey, we play, in our C through A levels, they play a regular season where they're sometimes playing teams 2 or 3 times a year. And ice is a commodity that I think most organizations across the country, that's their most precious commodity. But what if, this is crazy, but what if we played, instead of playing a team 3 times, you play them 2 times, and you practice an extra skate each week. But then the playoffs, instead of being 1 and done, you have 2 and done. And maybe backload these seasons with the games and front load the seasons with practices. And to your point, evaluate our coaches at the end of the year and help them get better at practices.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I managed a rink for 14 years. Scheduling and curriculum have a big part in this, with how we have the kids practice to game ratio, etc. It's super important. And again, the puck touches you get are they learning in the development that's going on. So, somebody did a study years ago on some of the best players in the world, and they only had the puck on their stick for approximately a little bit over a minute, right? So if you can get out there and get these kids active for 20 or 30 minutes, skating, touching the puck, getting those reps in, they're going to be learning. That's a learning environment for our children.
Yeah. So what do you think, being at the end of the season now, headed into the off season, what are things that are important to reflect on as a player, and then also as a coach, I would say, and carry into the next year? So as a player, how do you help the player understand where they are, where they performed well, where they can grow, and continue to develop and take that motivation into the next season?
Well, it's got to be constructive, absolutely. And it varies, but you as a coach, when you have that meeting, is your player going to know what he did well? Is he going to know what he needs to work on for next year? Does he believe he can improve? Does he want to come back and play ice hockey? That motivates, right? I mean, that's what you want them to do, and that's what you want them to feel. And that's a reflection.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm hearing you say is, almost the first question is, did you have fun this year, and do you want to come back next year?
Absolutely. And if they want to come back next year and they had fun, you've done your job.
Right. And then you can offer that constructive.
Absolutely.
Here's what I think you did well. Here's where I think you can grow. But I like that. I like how you pitched that of how did the season go for you? Did you have fun? And do you want to come back?
And, I mean, and we can slice and dice it however, but it's not rocket science. If you have a motivated individual, they're going to excel in the game.
Last minute of play in this period.
We're getting down to the end of our first segment here with Goose Gosselin of USA Hockey. Goose, you got a few more minutes left in you to tackle a few more topics, because my mind's going to a lot of things after this first 10, 15 minutes that we've had. And I really love to get your feedback on, as a coach, how we can effectively deliver that constructive criticism or constructive communication, and give that kid versus, where they're not feeling like, oh my gosh, the weight's on my shoulders, I didn't do as well, but like, oh my gosh, the sky's the limit. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on that amongst some other things. But we got to take a quick break as we have a quick live read, and we'll be back in about two minutes.
Thanks, guys.
Just singing the Top Gun song in my head.
That segment of Too Many Men on the Mic was brought to you by 5B Designs. St. Louis hockey families and business leaders, if you need custom gear that stands out and stands for something, it's time to meet 5B Designs. Founded by Shannon Brahini, a proud St. Louis mom and entrepreneur, 5B Designs is a woman-owned small business that brings purpose to custom apparel. Whether you're suiting up your youth or high school hockey team or leveling up your company's branded swag, 5B delivers top-notch quality with a personal touch. You need a team store? Not a problem. Corporate polos or event giveaways, they've got you covered. 5B makes it easy with fast turnaround, flexible service, and designs your players or employees will love to wear. Check them out at stores.inksoft.com/5B Designs. That's the word 5. And if you are watching on our YouTube feed, go ahead and scan the QR code in the top right corner of your screen and see what great gear and great service looks like. Real quick, folks, before we jump back into our conversation with Goose Gosselin, if you're enjoying Too Many Men on the Mic, hit like and subscribe on our YouTube feed. And go ahead and click the upper right-hand corner where you see our Instagram QR code. It's a quick click for you, but it helps us grow the show and keep bringing you great hockey conversations like the one we're having tonight. You can also follow us on Instagram by scanning the QR code on your screen. And be sure to download, follow, and rate the podcast on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. And go directly to our website, which is www.tooManyMenOnTheMic.com. That's the number 2. Back to the show.
And we're back with Goose from USA Hockey, and we're talking end of season lessons learned, good practices, things to talk to your players about, things to reflect on as a coach. Can you say, Coach?
Yeah, it's something that I personally have, as a coach, have embraced the last probably 3 or 4 seasons, where I am actually soliciting the players and asking them if they want the feedback, not assuming or not mandating it. Which comes to mind, Goose, from your vantage point. Is that a good way to go about it? Is it to offer the opportunity for players to come in and then allow them to kind of lead the narrative, so to speak? What has been some of the most successful interactions and formats that you've seen at the youth hockey level, especially what we would consider the non-elite level, non-AA, non-AAA players? What has worked in your experience?
Well, I love it that you said offer. It shouldn't be mandatory, really. Offering that, most of the kids want feedback. Some might not, but with that said, when you are giving feedback, you want to hit on the positives, what they do well, and then maybe focus on some things that they need to develop and work on throughout the summer. And kind of give them ownership of this. It's not the coach telling them. It's kind of this collaboration between the coach, the player, and the parents.
You brought the parents up, and
The third leg of the stool.
the third leg of the stool, and so I'm curious. Are parents a part of your recommended evaluation at the end of the season? And what I mean is, do you solicit feedback from the parents? What do you think went well this season? What didn't you? What would you have liked to see different, or how do you frame that with parents?
I think that I'm sorry I brought that up, but yeah, that's rank manager, and it's awesome. They're writing the checks, and they want to know, and they want the best for their children. And if we can bring them in and let them voice their opinion, be a good listener, and again, everything's on the nice and even keeled. Have a nice casual conversation about where their child is at, and they're the support group. They're the ones that have to go, or the kids have to go home to them after their game or their practice, and support from mom and dad is huge. And if they buy in and they have belief that you're doing the right thing in the way of long-term athlete development for their child, life is pretty good.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious, outside of the hockey development piece, would you recommend going to the parents and saying, take development aside, what went well for you as a parent this year? And what do you think could improve? And it could be everything from, I don't know, rink practice times to off ice activities, a whole host of things. But taking the subject matter expertise, hockey coaching component out of it, is that important to you? And do you think that's important for coaches to think about in the off season?
Oh, absolutely. Let me step back and say that, you should be communicating throughout the season with the parents so they know what they're seeing on the ice, why we're doing what we're doing out there. But yeah, there's different commitments. People have different commitments for their children, right? And sometimes it might be too much. Sometimes it might be they're not getting enough. So those things are super important if you want to retain those players and keep them coming back. So pretty much anything is on the table.
It's interesting that you say communicating. I found when I was coaching, 12U, 10U, and even a little bit of 14U, I was communicating through writing a lot in the various applications we used, whether it was like a Team Snap or a Sports Engine, and sharing the practice plans. With the intent, I would address the players, but the narrative and what I would write out, okay, here's what we're working on, here's how our schedule is going to be, was also to give the parents a bird's eye view into what was going on. But I was very seldom engaging in conversation for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is, every parent is, like you said, they want what's best for their child, and it's their job to advocate. But then when you go from advocacy to agency, and try, and I made a decision several years ago to kind of try and, put up a picket fence, so to speak, between that, because,
that's a drill.
Picket fence is a great drill. But what's your thoughts on that? Because it's a hard thing for a coach to do an effective job for the entire team that they're coaching. And some parents are going to take that inch and go a mile sometimes if you give them that. So Give a little bit of feedback on that. I love how this conversation is just morphing into this too, by the way. So
Yeah.
I love it. You need to communicate throughout. We used to do 3 touches. So prior to the season, here's what you're what to expect. This is what you're going to get. during the season, here's where we're at. This is where we want to go. And then after the season, information on what to expect for next year. But again, that communication piece is huge. And I know that we have volunteers primarily that are coaches, and that's tough. Another aspect that comes into this is what kind of board support do you get from your youth hockey board as a coach? And that's huge. Again, they're volunteers are trying to do the best job that they can do as coaches. And sometimes that person's trying to break through that picket fence and you need some support.
Who's going to be the bag? And Drew and I have both been members of a hockey board. We've coached, and we're also parents. So it's like you wear all these different hats. I love the idea, not just because you said it was threes, because I love threes, but I love the idea how you talk about preseason, midseason, end of season. When you are delivering this feedback, whether it's midseason to a player, end of season, you're asking for their input or asking them to engage. Do you do it verbally alone? Do you do it with an assistant coach? Do you have a parent present? Are you putting together a template of like, these are the three things you're great at, these are the two things you have opportunities on, this is the one thing that if you improve, then A, B, or C will happen? What's that medium look like for you? And spoiler alert, we're just trying to steal great ideas from coaches because that's what we do.
No, that's awesome. There's no exacts again. But, just parent etiquette during the season. A lot of very successful youth hockey associations have parents read how they're going to act and sign a paper on your behavior during the season and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. That's one thing. Here's the avenue that you can take if you have some issues. A lot of people say, a 24 or 48 hour rule, don't talk to the coach after the game. It's just the way you carry yourself. And believe me, I've seen as much tension in the lobby at the rink with 6U parents as I have with, 18U parents, right? And it gets a little wild once in a while, and the emotions are flying. So it's a little bit of everything, really. And if they feel they're getting more value by this communication piece, they're going to stick around.
So what do you think is the most important thing a parent? You just talked about 6U and you talked about 18U. So is there one thing that a parent can do to support their kids development? If you had to narrow it down to one thing, what do you think it is?
Well, support at home and not discuss that you're not on the power play, right? We're trying our best here. The support is the support group. That's it. Mom and dad are there, and they're here to ensure the kid is safe, playing hockey in a safe environment. And hey, my dad always said, and he was a pretty good hockey player, good game kid. That was it. And I knew whether I played a good game or not, right? And kids know. So trying to keep that even level with your children is hard sometimes because people are emotional about the game. But just supporting them as a human, not necessarily as a hockey player.
That's been a theme the past 2 months as we've had conversations with directors of hockey throughout the country, whether it was in Alaska or Oregon or Pensacola, Florida. They want to help out and help form and foster good humans first. One of the things that we've seen, and we've talked about this before, is a lot of parents, their experience with hockey is watching the NHL. And then when they go to the rink and watch their 6-year-old, especially if it's at 7 o'clock in the morning. They had to get up at 5, and then they had to help put up those stupid half wall boards. So they're already in a bad mood. But we had a situation years ago. I was coaching a 12U Pee Wee team, and Dad was just always critical through high expectations, right, for his son. And I remember I made a comment. I'm like, God, we must have been a great hockey player. And he's like, I can't skate. But he, you know what, and his wife might have prodded him on this, but to his credit, and a couple other of the dads and moms, they went and did an adult learn to play. And they came back and they're like, oh my God, my kid's so good at hockey.
Yeah, it's awesome. We used to do that actually at the rink here. Looking at it from a different perspective, doing something like that, hockey is hard. Hockey is hard. With my experience, as a rink manager, I've been in this, for 30 years after I got done playing. Being critical to children about their performance really turns them off. And a lot of kids don't want to play. Okay. So again, that's keeping that even keel, and being supportive of your child, holding them accountable when they do something out there that's not ethical, but that's where we need to take this. And I've seen a lot of kids burn out because they've been pushed and adults have been critical of their play. Yeah.
Well, bringing this back to the year-end evaluation of the players, a scenario, you've got a player, and Drew and I now are coaching high school, and we've got a wide array of talent. Kids are on different parts of their hockey journey. And you have some kids who here in Missouri, they play both club and high school hockey, and some are at a very high level club, and that translates to their skill on the ice. And I've tried to tell the kids who are maybe not quite as far down the path, who want to get better, hey, take advantage of these practices. You're playing against some of the best players in the city and the state. But how do you motivate the situation through feedback so that those kids at the end of the year who maybe are a freshman or a sophomore or even a junior who didn't who want to play more, who want to improve, are you giving them advice on off-season drills or telling them to do things in terms of seeking out private lessons? I know every kid's different, but just in general, what are some of the feedback that you give in those type of scenarios, maybe to the older players who want to get closer to that elite level, and have hopefully the development ramp still to do it?
Well, again, just like I said, every player's an experiment in one. We always say that. Everybody has a different pathway. For example, as a coach, you can see some of the things these kids need. For example, maybe a late bloomer that's a little timid out there because he's getting pushed around. And a lot of times, the younger kids, 13, 14, going through puberty, you can do simple things like teaching them how to become stable out on the ice. And once you're stable, your confidence grows. Once your confidence grows, you're going to perform better out on the ice. So just picking little things out, maybe having a discussion of where they're at and giving them a couple things to work on for the upcoming season.
Experiment of one. I'm stealing that. That's a new wisdom I'm taking.
Goose, I just have one more question for you. What's a popular piece of hockey advice that you actually disagree with?
Ooh, well, we've been talking about it all night, and people think there are exacts out there, and there really aren't. There's concepts and habits and stuff, but I disagree with the people think that you have to do this to get to where you think you want to be, right? And there's a lot of people that get paid to tell people that, experts in the field. And if we do a good job of helping our players figure it out, they don't have to buy into all the white noise out there. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys or not, but the way I train might be a lot different than how you train. We need to figure it out as players. I didn't figure it out until I was 27 years old, how to be an efficient hockey player, body type, how to work out, how to train. So our younger players are just hitting the tip of the iceberg. When we're talking high school kids, 15, 16, 17, they're just learning this stuff.
Last week we had a young man on who's gone through kind of this up and down roller coaster journey, Blake Warren. And I think you hit the nail on the head is you have to, as you mature, and it's not just physically, it's also, you're maturing mentally and emotionally. Once he decided, he walked away from the game for a year, realized how much he missed it. And just, I think his confidence, his skills followed his passion. It was amazing how I could tell in talking to him as he missed the game, wanted to get back and play, the statistics and the goals and everything, and his skill increased because he loved the game and just wanted to play more. And I don't know if any other advice that you could give somebody. It's just like, hey, just go out there and play, and let it kind of come to you. And it's okay if you're not,
starting a power play. And what I'm hearing you say, Goose, in so many words, is that there's not one path. And somebody might be able to say, you have to do this to get to this, but every player's journey is different. And so it's not one path. It's not one formula that you have to follow. It's not do this and then you're going to get this result. There's body type. Are you growing or not growing? There's all kinds of variables that are in there. And so, what I think is you're debunking the myth of there's one path. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And, again, we need to be patient in our development.
Last minute of play in this period.
I think patience is the key there. And I love that we ended this segment on that. If you got,
it's a great Guns N' Roses song.
It is a great Guns N' Roses song. I think there's some whistling in it too. So, full disclosure, Drew and I are also musicians, and we play together in a band that we just happen to call Too Many Men on the Mic. So
awesome.
We bring that to the table every once in a while. Well, Goose, do you have a few more minutes left? I wanted to, one of the traditions we've had with the USA Hockey directors is we ask them to bring a drill on and we virtually walk through it. Something that coaches like Drew and I can steal and then give to the masses.
We'll probably run it in practice on Friday.
And you get full credit with it, and we send you a nice no prize in the mail. But if you've got time to go through it, do you have some time, 10, 15 minutes left?
Absolutely. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to sit with Guy Goose Gosselin and draw up some great drills, and we'll put a bow on this episode of Too Many Men on the Mic. Stay tuned.
Well, I know it's off season, but it's never too early to book your club's youth hockey tournament experience. And at BigBearTournaments.com, they have a open registration available now for clubs. And this is super cool. Club level pricing. This has saved teams collectively over $50,000 during the past season. That is a big number. All it takes is 6 or more registrations to qualify. So if you are a registrar, if you are a team manager, if you are part of a youth hockey board, take advantage of this pricing. Get in there early. BigBearTournaments.com is open for registration for your great youth hockey experience. That's BigBearTournaments.com. And don't forget to sell it. Too Many Men on the Mic sent you. Goose, it's drill draw with Coach Ballin at the helm. He's got some mad drill draw skills. So I'm just going to sit here and support him. But he's great at coaching coaches through the drill draw. So we use an app called Drift for all you youth hockey coaches out there. Fantastic medium that's out there that allows you to not only draw drills, share them with your team, share videos, lots of other great things. But thanks to the Drift folks for letting us use their forum and their medium for drill draw.
Yeah, Drift is kind of like if you were able to take IHS and Huddle and Sports Engine and Team Snap and put
They all had a baby.
If they all had, that would be interesting. Okay, it's a kid show here, kid show. Okay, this is the time of the show where if you're listening to us on Spotify, it would be great for you to go to YouTube, like and subscribe, and come see us on YouTube because then you get to see this great drill draw that we're going to do here with Goose Gosselin. But then also once the show is over and you're trying to find great ideas for your practice, head over to toomanymenonthemic.com and you'll find multiple drills by some of the sharpest hockey minds in USA hockey, as well as some other coaches from around the country. So Goose, tell us a little bit about what you're bringing to the table here before we put it up on screen.
There is a lot of pressure here. I don't have any photos in front of me. It's all in my head, man. Yeah. So I'm going to get I'll do a drill, a starter drill.
All right.
Essentially.
Can you see this screen here with the library of all these drills?
Yes, I can.
Great. Well, you direct traffic, and I will. I'll set the scene on our sheet of ice here, our sheet of virtual ice.
Okay. So in one end, we're going to take X's on one side from the hash mark down on the boards.
All right. So if we'll have players here, different color players that work.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So I'm assuming like this.
Nope. The hash mark down low on the circle.
Like this.
Yep.
Towards the corner.
Yep.
All right. Let's move those bad boys first. Let's move our friends here. Tell that kid to get. You see, I'm like a kid that's doing.
You're not paying attention to the drill.
I'm over the corner. I'm a drill kill already, coach.
Okay,
shooting pucks.
We'll take 2 players on the outside hash mark.
2 on the outside, so
of the circle.
Of the circle.
In a line, yep, one behind the other.
Same color.
Yep.
All right. So let's direct me here outside hash
mark. Nope.
There.
Nope. Right on the outside, right on the hash mark itself. Yep. And then one on right behind him, which is perfect. We can leave it like that. Right. One on the far hash mark.
Let's put a new one in here. We're going to run out of players.
Perfect.
Good. All right.
Okay. And you can take that. The 3 on the top are going to be part of this start of the drill. Okay.
Okay.
You're going to do the same thing on the far side with X's or whatever color you'd like.
All right. Let's do this.
Okay, take that second one away that's on the circle, right? There's 2 on the circle right now. I want the guy that's directly across. Okay, perfect. Yep. Nope, that's good. Put him in the back of the line. Put him in the back of the line.
Okay, good.
The 2 that are on the boards here on the hash marks.
Okay.
Put a puck there.
On both sides?
Yep.
So right here?
And the front guy. Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right
on
here?
The inside of the circle. Right there. Yep.
Right here too?
Yep.
No? Gotcha.
Okay. And then we're going to move out to center ice. And well, actually take a couple arrows and point the direction that these guys in the corner are going to go.
Okay.
Just put it on the blue line pointing towards the red line.
Blue line pointing towards the red line?
Yep.
So like this?
Yep. Right there. Good. Same thing on the other side. Okay.
Change that color.
Then we're going to have 3 players out at center ice.
Same color or different colors?
Same color, red on the one side and then blue on the other.
Gotcha. All right. So where do we want them? At center ice?
right above the arrow, because they're going to be doing rhythmic passing right there.
Okay. So 3 in a row across the red line, or 3?
No, they should be all over the place, just on that side.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Good.
Boom. And then you can take some arrows on those players. Do the same thing on the other side.
Gotcha.
And take some arrows on those players and just kind of show that they're skating inside and in between each other. And what they're going to be doing is kind of a rhythmic skate and drop passing a puck. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yep. There you go. Curls, cut in between. Perfect. Then arrow down to the third end.
Okay. So like this.
Yep. Perfect.
And then we do a red one down here.
Perfect. Okay. And then 2 goals right on the circles, like you're playing cross ice hockey down there.
Cross ice. Do you
Yep.
want inside?
Perfect. Right there. Yep.
Love it. All right.
Okay. Perfect. And then you're going to have a coach on the blue line with pucks.
All right. I'll get the coach. This blue line right here.
Yep. Pile of pucks. Right there.
I got a lot of pucks. There we
Goalies in the net.
go. Goalers, red and blue. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
we don't want to forget about the goaltenders.
Oh, gotta keep them. All right.
Okay. Yep.
Goalie there, and goalie there.
Yep. Okay. And then we want to have 3 players in this zone as well.
Okay. I'm assuming blue and red.
Yep.
All right. Anywhere. Good.
That'd be yep, that's good. Boom, boom, boom. And a puck. Doesn't matter where. And then do your arrow from the corner and point all the way down to the other end.
Both sides.
Yep. So like they went into the corner, they curled and they skated down.
Okay. So like you're coming in here.
Yep. Perfect.
Gotcha. Look, that's feedback, coach. That's feedback right there. That's perfect feedback.
Okay, so how this works is, we talk about getting humans moving, right? And hopefully our kids are all ready to rock and roll when they hit the ice, but with their dynamic stretches and stuff. But this is a good focus drill, and it gets humans moving. And there's 20 people that are involved in this. So on the whistle, 3 jump out on the far side, at the bottom.
Over here.
Yep. And they're doing a passing progression. It's just continuous passing. And you can have them.
So these 3 jump into this neutral zone and do this continuous passing, or are they passing down here in this end?
They're passing down low.
Okay.
There's 3 new ones that are there. Okay, boom. You blow the whistle. The coach who's down at the far end with a 3v3 controls the whistle, because you don't want to blow the whistle when a kid has a scoring opportunity. But
right.
So it goes from, you can put numbers in there, zone 1 to zone 2 to zone 3.
Gotcha. Okay. We will do that. This is zone 1.
Yep. Perfect.
Zone 2. Shout out to Brian Dolan for having numbers in drift hockey.
I know. I was just going to say that. That's a Jedi.
Yeah. There we go. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So if the kids don't understand it, you can start them all down in zone 1 in a line. Have 3 kids hop out. Boom. Passing progression. On the whistle, they take their puck, go out to center ice, and do rhythmic passing. Okay.
Right in here. Gotcha.
Yep. And then on the next whistle, they go down and play 3v3. And after the 3v3, they peel and skate back down into line.
I love it.
It's a continuous rotation through stations with, again, 18 skaters and 2 goalies. Sometimes they need that focus when they start their practice. And sometimes they're a little intense. This drill wasn't meant to go 100%. Okay. So you might have to reel them in and say, nice and easy, and get focused for today's practice.
So you're doing kind of like this, skating with the puck, passing, and then moving to the neutral zone, rhythmic passing, same group. Next guys in line are filling in zone 1. Whistle blows, zone 1 to zone 2, zone 2 to zone 3, zone 3 back to the end of the line in zone 1. I think this is absolutely getting run Friday.
I like it.
Absolutely getting run Friday.
Lots of movement, and everybody gets to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you can put in there whatever you want to put in there, right? But so the linear passes in zone 1 should be the kid passing directly across and then curling into that position to receive the pass again, right, where he just passed the puck. So he's following, he's not following the path of the puck. He's actually curling. But, this is just an example, but you can put anything in there that you want, right? Yeah. We have lots of humans moving. That's one of the key points.
I love it. What do you call this?
Let's coin it.
We got to coin it. We got to call it is this like the goose walk? I mean, we have to give it something cool.
Goose's rhythm, or Goose's progression.
Rhythm of the group. Rhythm of the goose.
That's really good. I've never had a drill named after me before.
Now you have one. Yes, and we'll the way this will work is we'll draw up the description here. Let's talk about some tags there's obviously, you've got edge work, you've got one-touch passing, you've got heads up. Okay. What are some other compete, and what are some other things in this goose that we want to tag it with?
Movement, awareness, drop pass, skill stuff, skill work. We always tell our kids, do you like music? And you guys are rockers. So, to be a good athlete, you have to have some good rhythm, right?
Absolutely. Gosh, everything about, and they have to be, they've got to have, that awareness piece is so critical, because you can't just get lost in what you're doing. You've got to be aware of your surroundings. Like when you hear that whistle, you got to get moving. Love it. Well, Goose, this is getting saved, and we will put this along with some other fine drills. As you can see here, we've built quite a collection.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive, guys.
Well, we do this. It's a labor of love for sure. Coach Goose, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. We hope you had as much fun as we did. I feel like I got to ask him, there's got to be a story in there from 88 or 92 that we've got to ask. Anything that we can, share with our listening audience. PG-13.
I was going to say, this is a G-rated show, right?
This is PG-13.
I don't have a story right off the top of my head, but I can tell you that there were some beauties on that team, and on both of them. And they're just great hockey players. That's what I got, kids.
Hey, you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, Guy Goose Gosselin, U.S. Olympian, rink manager, coach, player, most importantly, just a guy out there teaching a couple guys here and teaching kids all around the country. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Enjoy the rest of your week and weekend, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
The
rhythm of the
goose. That
rhythm of the goose. It sounds like a Duran Duran song.
Well, I like Duran. Simon LeBone was on the Spectrum on XM radio, and I'm like, that's Simon LeBone.
Absolutely.
So
one of the best MTV videos ever.
Absolutely. Well, we are, what a weekend of hockey.
Bring Grant in.
Grant, come on in, Grant.
Where's he?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Hello.
Grant, we've got Grant. Why are you echoing?
The Wi-Fi wasn't working in the other room, so I had to pivot.
Okay, pivot. See, you're thinking on your feet, man. So when are you coming out to practice, and when are we going to put you on skates?
I think I got to run that drill.
You have to. That's actually is a drill. That's a drill that I think.
I want to see you in the rhythm of the goose.
Rhythm of the goose. In fact, we'll get you a jersey and we'll just put goose on the back.
That's great. Like I'm in Top Gun.
There you go. Absolutely.
So Grant, I got to know first round playoffs. Who do you like? Are you are you believing in the Sabres? For example, do you think after being out for a while that they've got some mojo, or are you a Philly fan and are they pretenders? What's your outlook look like here?
Yeah, I think both those teams kind of surprised. Philly shutting out the Penguins away, and it kind of felt like Buffalo would win that first game. A lot of expectations. I think the Bruins are the team, obviously, with the more experience, but I don't know. There's something about the Sabres. I think they're going to find a way through that first round, and I think the Penguins will regroup and do the same against Philly.
Well, it's second intermission right now. And for those of you at home, we're recording on Tuesday. This will be out there on Thursday. Second intermission, the Bruins are up 3-0. So the Sabres have them right where they want them.
It's true.
They're down the entire game and storm back. I can't get out of my head the overtime game last night with Carolina and Ottawa. And I know the rule. But, okay, you call the play offsides. And this is the crazy thing. The play's offsides, they missed the call. The penalty is after the alleged offsides. They pull the goalie, they score, and the delayed penalty. Then they call the offsides. They wipe the goal out, but they still get the penalty. It's like, wait a minute, that didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Yeah,
now, I know that they don't want players crushing, people and taking major penalties, but I don't know if I would have given that. There's got to be a standard where if it's just like a hook or a trip, the play should have never happened to begin with. Thankfully, Carolina won that game. But oh my gosh,
well, the two for me last night were if you're a Philadelphia fan and you don't have a Porter Martone jersey, you better get one. They probably can't print those fast enough.
Porter Martone.
The other one that it just happens every year. Edmonton starts slow, and they were down, and then look what happens. Their role guys show up. It wasn't even the Draisaitl McJesus show. It was the role guys that were coming in and wound up getting the job done. So just kind of a sleepy Edmonton start. But if you let them hang around, they're going to bite you. And they did last night.
Porter Martone. Listen to this. So since he was at Michigan State in college, he's only had one game since the middle of February where he hasn't had a point. Just one game where he hasn't had a point since the middle of February. I mean, that guy is amazing.
I mean, he's 19. I don't know how many girlfriends he has, but he's going to get a couple more after these games.
Well, Grant, man, it is awesome having you back. I think you complete us.
The threes.
And I can't wait to see the rhythm of the goose.
The rhythm of the goose
at practice. We're going to have to film that baby.
Once again, huge thank you to Guy Goose Gosselin for joining us. What an awesome conversation. Looking ahead to next week, we've got a special show. We're going to pivot a little bit and go to the moms. And if all things line up correctly, we're going to have a mom panel to talk about the season and really focus in as parents, you can enjoy your kids' season, be great fans, and really develop a huge family away from home, a family at the rink. But we're looking forward to that. There'll be more to come. But Grant, as always, great to have you back. Folks, thanks for joining us. Remember, go ahead, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Head over to our website, tooManyMenOnTheMic.com, where you can follow us on Instagram, X, and choose any platform of your choosing to listen to our podcast, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music. Coaches, feel free to download some great drills from some of the best hockey minds out there. But But as always, thanks for all the support. We'll talk to you next week. He shoots, he scores. Grant, play the song.